Do you mind? You're in my shot. Thanks. Hello art friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa and this is my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm going to be starting a challenge. I'm going to be working on this book right here, Create This Book 3. If you have not heard of it before, this is a book created by a YouTuber named Mariah Elizabeth. If you have not checked out her channel, you definitely should. She does awesome arts and crafts projects. But basically this is a prompt book where each page asks you to do something different. So it's just kind of like a book that helps you brainstorm ideas. And I would really like to finish the whole book. I have bought Create This Book 1 and 2 and have done some prompts from those ones, but I have not completed the whole book. And with this one, I did already do one page. But today we're gonna work on decorating the cover and doing a couple prompts inside. I'm planning on making this a series, so if you enjoy this video, be sure to check out the next videos that come out, and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I needed to deal with was the front cover. So I decided to paint the front cover white just to get started so that I had a blank base to work on top of. I did decide to keep the splatter in the middle though. So my plan for this cover is to keep it kind of simple, or at least I tried to keep it simple in the beginning. But I am planning on adding a wavy checkerboard pattern in a neon pink and black to the background, and then making the splatter in the middle something interesting. So I covered up the 101 prompts, the frame around the outside, and the cute little paint palette, which part of me kind of wishes that I kept, but it's okay. So painting the background white probably took about 3 coats, I think. Luckily, I can speed that up for you all, so you don't have to be bored to death watching me paint white over and over again. And just like that, the base coat is done. We're going in with the actual background color now, which is going to be this pretty neon pink. Here I am adding 105 coats of paint to the front cover so that it's not so streaky. Next, I'm going in with this very old black paint to roughly outline the wavy checkerboard pattern that I wanted to add. But this paint was so disgusting and old. So here you can see me just casually dragging a chunk of paint across the page when really I should have thrown the paint out. But instead I decided to use it anyway. So I continue using the paint and Mr. Black Paint Bottle is just judging me in the corner. And I thought I was doing fine, but then this is when everything went downhill. I ruined the checkerboard pattern, and then I smudged it so much worse, and then scraped the cover, had a mental breakdown, and here we are the next day. So now I'm going to start working on cleaning up the paint splatter shape in the middle of the book. So I'm just using some white acrylic paint and a small brush to neaten up the edges and really fill in that color because I got a lot of pink and black in areas where I did not want to. Then I decided the cover was too boring, so I added some stars with a Posca marker, but I don't know if it's just my Posca marker or all white Poscas, but mine is not very opaque, so I just decided to go in with white acrylic paint over top of it because it was totally see-through. Now onto the text. I of course had to add my little rainbow in there somewhere, so I used rainbow colors of Posca markers to trace over each of the letters of the title of the book. So then I also wanted to outline the letters in black, but the Sharpie did not work, so I got another one. And this Sharpie did not work either, so then I had to get another one, but then this Sharpie worked, so that was good. I outlined all the letters with some black as neat as I could. The cover was so bumpy at this point from all the paint, but here we are, the completed cover. And I also put some tape on the side of the book just to cover that up as well. So now I'm opening the book and signing my name on the inside. And now I'm ready to move on to the very first prompt in the book. So the first prompt that I picked says, create a circus. Clowns can be as cute or as creepy as you please. So my idea for this prompt was to create drawings of sad girl clowns. The reason why I wanted to draw sad girl clowns is because I liked the idea that clowns are supposed to be fun and happy and make people smile. But these girls are not that at all. They are depressed, they are over this circus, and they are sick of being a part of this. So some of them look a little bit more annoyed, some of them look a little bit more sad. They're just honestly not here for it. So I added some fun little accessories and makeup to these girls. I took some inspiration from Pinterest, and I added a little party hat to one of them, a bow tie to the next one, and I tried to vary up the composition a little bit by turning the girl on top just a little bit, but this was a bad idea because now her shoulders are more visible, and my lack of skill in drawing anatomy is very apparent here, and her arm just keeps getting worse throughout this whole drawing. So next it was time to add some color. So I tried to use watercolor first because I didn't really know what this paper was going to be like. Clearly this did not work well, so pretty early on I decided that watercolor was not the way to go. So I let everything dry and decided to go in with colored pencils instead. Needless to say, I think choosing colored pencils was probably the best option. This paper is really thin. I don't remember if the other two Create This Book's papers were as thin. I feel like they weren't, but I definitely would not continue to use watercolor on this paper. The better option would be to maybe use a separate sheet of paper and then glue it into the book. I didn't feel like doing that though, so if you do not feel like doing that, colored pencils are definitely a better option. I would also like to point out that I do not like how this first girl's mouth turned out. It looks like she has a bunch of like zits around her mouth. It was supposed to be these little pearls I saw on a picture on Pinterest, but I did not render them well at all, and I basically just drew circles around her mouth, and it looks really ugly, but I did just want to say I didn't really think that looks good, and I probably should have taken my time a little bit more on that part. Other than that though, these girls were really fun to draw, so I don't really have anything else to say about them, so you can just enjoy the rest of me coloring in this page, and I'll play some music and check in with the next one. And with that, we are done with our first prompt, and it is time to move on to prompt number 2. So the next prompt that I chose says create holes. Tear or cut a few holes in this page to make it look fun and interesting. So I decided not to actually cut holes or tear up this page, so maybe you can consider it cheating, but I decided to just draw the holes instead on one of my favorite foods, which is Swiss cheese. So I decided to use Poscas for this one so that maybe the paper wouldn't fall apart. And this was working pretty well in the beginning, but you'll see we had a little bit of a tragedy. Then I am dragging the paint all over the place instead of just wiping it up like a normal person. So yeah, I continue coloring, and it's really like chewing up the paper though, because this Posca was way too small, but it was the only light yellow I had. So here I am just like picking up chunks off of the tip of the marker and flicking them all over my desk. And I'm adding some darker outlines, and I obviously had to have pink somewhere, so I colored in the background with this hot pink color. The pink was a lot easier to color in than the yellow because I actually had the right sized Posca markers for this. And once I finished the pink, I went in and cleaned up a couple smudges that I had along the way and fixed up some outlines, and then I was done. This is the finished page. Now, the last prompt I'm going to be doing today says create a fruit doll. Draw or attach eyes, a nose, ears, and a mouth to a fruit or vegetable. Add as many other details as you can think of. Once again, I did my sketch off camera, and I kind of interpreted this prompt in my own way again as well. The prompt said to draw one doll, but I ended up drawing 4 because I couldn't pick just one fruit to draw. And of course, for the faces, I had to give them big lips and irritated looking eyes. So I went in with Posca once again for this prompt because it worked okay for the last one, and I really didn't want to use separate paper. Some things got smudgy, especially around the blueberry near the end, but honestly, I think these came out pretty cute. They were definitely the quickest drawing that I did out of the 3, but I still think they're really cute because it's 2 things that I really like to draw anyways, which is fruit and irritated looking faces. So I was having fun with this one. I do wish I colored the background because it does look a little bit unfinished to me, but overall, I think it came out pretty good. And that brings us to the end of the video today. So we made our cover, some clowns, some cheese, and some fruit faces. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!